Good morning. So, does cortisol and stress lead to fat gain? That was a question I had the other week, and it was something I touched on a Q&A last night, all about this, because someone had said as well, if you run, if you exercise, that increases cortisol, which means it leads to weight gain around the stomach, abdominal fat, visceral fat, and all of these things. It's like, I can't do anything these days. I can't. If I eat carbs, it's bad. If I eat after 6 o'clock, it's bad. If I run, it's bad. I studied the other day that said women should exercise in the morning. So if I exercise in the evening, it's bad. It's like, I can't win. And what you got to consider with this is there's a lot of fluff around the edges with this. So they are right. If you look at the research, high cortisol levels are associated with high abdominal fat. Okay, so more fat around the stomach. Okay, good morning, Jessica. So cortisol levels are associated with that. However, at the same time, exercise increases cortisol, which is essentially like a stress hormone, as does day-to-day life, stresses, pressures, home life, work balance, fitting things in, pleasing others, all of these things that go on a day-to-day basis. These are all stressors. And what elevated cortisol can do is make it more difficult to lead us to doing the things that we know we need to do. So when you look at the research on this, people who have higher cortisol levels tend to have higher dropout rates in weight loss studies. So if they look at people's cortisol levels and then they start on a diet and on a training program or something like that, there tends to be a higher dropout rate. That's probably linked to the fact that maybe they're not sleeping and they're struggling to fit things in. So when you're lacking sleep, your ability to make better choices based on where you want to be rather than how you currently feel is obviously impacted in a negative way. And all of these things start to come into it. Just gonna cross the road. Didn't push for the green man, that's not good, is it? Okay, funny how you act differently around your kids and not. Anyway, should put that right, shouldn't I, really? Anyway, so cortisol, what can you do? It's also associated with certain nutrient deficiencies, which is relatively interesting as well. So vitamin B deficiencies, especially. Now, this isn't about going, should you eat vegan or not? So obviously vitamin B is found in meat, eggs, fish. So if you're dairy, so if you're not eating those things, you've got to think, where am I getting my B vitamins from? Am I having nutritional yeast? Do I need to supplement with it? Yes or no? That might be something to consider. You've then got omega-3, which is associated with this. So a few studies showing that 6 to 12 week supplementation with fish oil, omega-3 essentially reduced cortisol levels, which you could hypothesize that would then lead you to making it easier to stick to what you're trying to do with the nutrition and your training side of things. By the way, I'll just show you why, if you think you're struggling to walk and you're out of breath, this is how it's working now. I've got coffee, I've got all my food for the day, and then a load of envelopes here and a backpack on. It's good for my arm though. I'm trying not to spill the coffee on my envelopes. Anyway, so omega-3 as well, quite a key one. Then you've got things like vitamin D as well. And I guess my point in this is that things like meditation, sleep will then impact this, but overall, it only just makes it harder. That's it. And just generally, if it's harder to stick to, people struggle more, their choices are worse. Now, sometimes you've got to draw the line and go, am I taking on too much? Caveat. That's why we talk about the 3 legs of the stool. You've got the food habit, the fitness habit, and the focus habit. And what we mean by this is you don't have to focus on everything at once. And I say this massive importance. I talked about a study the other day about postmenopausal women, sarcopenia in general as well, which is muscle loss with age, and the importance of just focusing on resistance exercise, even if you get that done and nothing else. Protein, even if you get that done and nothing else. Vitamin D, getting outside. The impact that can have on longevity, on our independence, on our happiness, on our ability to do things, on our ability to say yes to things. Because if we're fitter, stronger, no matter what happens on the scales, abdominal fat, etc. This can only be a good thing for when maybe our lifestyles allow us to make better choices, to perhaps make it easier to make better choices. But in the meantime, can we focus on how we manage stress in our sleep routine, in our nutrition? Are we just putting more fuel on the fire? That's the word, yeah? Or are we actually going, you know what, I'm going to control what I can here? Can I get my protein? Can I get veggies in at lunchtime? Can I get a workout in that I enjoy this week, even if it's not what I set out to do? So, I hope that helps. Any questions, let us know. And I'll see you soon.